Hey, good morning. It's Pastor Dusty from Redefine Church. And this morning we're talking about something very special to me and Heather. We're talking about how to lead your family. And so we would call this home church. You can call it family church, or um, we call this BFB at our house, which means big family breakfast. Our kids didn't even think it was church. And so here's kind of how we come across this idea. In 2017, we moved up here in December of 2017, New Year's Eve that night. I asked myself a question for the first time that I'd never asked, and it was, who am I going to be this year? And my answer was, I'm going to be more to my house this year than ever. I want to be a better husband, and I want to be a better father, a better dad than I ever have been. And so what that led me and Heather to do was really kind of identify where our kids are and where they can grow. Like, we just wanted to identify one step. So my one step was to be a better husband and father, to be more from my house. And Oscar's step we identified was for him to be more joyful. And Kaz, we wanted him to be a better listener. And for Laney, we wanted him to be more respectful. And those are all kind of values in our house. And so that's what we wanted. And then as a family, we just wanted to be an example. We want everybody to see that our lives are a little bit different, that we live our lives based on the Bible. We teach our kids based on the Bible. And so this is kind of a mini message in itself, but man, I think this is super important. And so I hope you take this idea. I hope you run with it. I hope I see all kinds of stuff come up and changes. I'm not going to give you the full thing because I've got a message to teach after this, but I wanted to get the conversation started with your kids and with your spouses. And so whether you're a single mom or single dad, or a joint couple leading this together with your kids. And it doesn't matter how old your kids are, this is just a conversation. And so how we started with that is we started having our kids' journal. And so here are our kids' journals. This is Oscar's. His favorite color is green. Obviously, Kaz is blue. And then Laney's got the pink sparkles. And so we started having our kids' journal. And so a typical BFB was Saturday morning for us. And so I'm challenging you to do this on Sundays. Or on Sunday morning, rather. This is still something we do. We haven't done it in a couple of days. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. We just brought our new boy, Axton, home today. He's actually in the living room with Heather right now. So as we're at my kitchen table, I would start the conversation by journaling. Heather's in the kitchen. She's cooking. I'm super blessed because I have a wife who loves the kitchen and loves to cook. And so that means we eat very well. That's why I weigh 300 pounds, is because Heather can cook, right? And so we're journaling with the kids. We're asking questions. Heather's offering feedback. She's just right here. And we're really kind of asking our kids, hey, what did you love this week? What did you love this week? And as they explain it, they write it and they color it, and it's all good. And one day we're going to talk about what it means to actually keep a good journal and it not be weird, right? And so I keep a journal. I've been keeping a journal for 4.5 years now, and it changed my life. And so that'll be one of the biblical principles we'll jump back into when we start meeting again regularly as a church family. And so here's how a BFB would go, right? A big family breakfast. Heather's cooking and we journal. When the food comes in, I start the conversation. And how I would always lead it was, there was no set curriculum or plan. Whatever I had read that morning in my chair, I would just ask questions based off of that. And so we gather every morning at the table right before school for 5 to 7 minutes, and we talk through one of the verses out of the Bible that I read that morning. And I just kind of get the kids' perspective, and I help them to see mine. And we just kind of learn and grow together. And then we ask, hey, what's the biggest thing? What are you looking forward to the most today? And see how we can fit that into their day or how they might be able to use it, right? And so we have that conversation back and forth. It's probably a 15-minute conversation, but it's happening while we eat. Heather's brought the food in, and everything is just, it's awesome. And so from there, what you have today is the attachment that I sent to you. And we're actually talking about Joshua at Redefine right now. And so with the series title being Strong. And so today you're reading Joshua chapter 2 and Hebrews 11:31, talking about Joshua and the spies and Rahab, right? And so as you read that, you've got a couple questions, let's at 1 through 7, and then you've got 1 through 4 here with a couple of random parts. You don't have to use all these. These are just an idea or a guide. And you don't have to use this. If you want to use the YouVersion Bible app and click on one of the stories there and watch that with your kids, it seems to be more interactive. We do that from time to time. Sometimes I read something and I know it's not going to hit with the kids. They're not going to grasp it. And so the YouVersion is always plan B for me, but it's a good plan. So it's a good plan A if you've never used it. And so then we go through these questions, and at the very end, I just pray to close. And after we pray, I kind of take my laptop and I'll flip it around and we'll watch worship. And so whether that be worship from YouTube, whether it be one of our favorite songs that we like, or maybe one of the churches that we like to follow. And we'll worship together. Sometimes they'll stand up, sometimes they'll sit down, but we're all singing together. And it's very special to worship God in your house together with your family, right? And so this has been life-changing for us. This was our church this was our church experience for nearly 2 years here. And so it was really good. And the reason we did it like this was because I didn't want the only church that my kids got to be always from dad, because I hold a place in their life as their dad, right, as their father. And so I need to bring different types of content in, because if I want there to be a difference between me being a father or dad and me being a pastor. And although we might be coaching them overall altogether, like we might be pastoring them, they need to know the difference between when I'm proud of who they are, when I am upset for something they've done, and when I'm pleased with who they are. And that's really what we're going to be talking about in today's message that I'm sending next. But anyway it goes, as soon as we get done with that worship set, we get done with that worship set, and it might be 3 songs, it might be 1 song, who knows what it is. We really just, me and Heather just kind of go off of feels, or anything that's on your heart today that you would like to play, and get your wife's perspective. And if she has no perspective, or if your husband has no perspective, make the call. The biggest thing that you need to know is everything rises and falls on leadership, right? And so your kids and your spouses are only going to be as involved as you are. And so bring some enthusiasm to the table, because wherever there's enthusiasm, there is success. Success follows enthusiasm wherever it goes. And so bring some life and some energy. Dads, we're typically good at this, about being goofballs. And so be goofy and have some fun. Don't make it strict, let your kids start to learn what their faith is and who they're following. And then after that worship set closes, back to the point, after that worship set closes, we dismiss the kids, and then me and Heather log on and we will watch a sermon or 2 from one of our favorite churches around the country. And so that being said, I hope this sparks something in you to lead better and well at your house, to start getting the word planted in your kids' heart. That's what the Bible tells us to do. Really, this is what our goal is at Redefined Church, is to, help our kids and your kids grow in their faith and start a journey, following God. Let it be theirs. And we just want to guide them in that. We want to plant the word of God in their heart so they can grow and move forward. The takeaway this week is this. I would love to hear from you. How does this go? You can email me, dusty@liveredefined.com. And if you'll just email me, let me know, hey man, that was cool, a little long, or really great, or whatever. Those are good comments, but what I really want to know is what happened. What did one of your kids say? What did your spouse say? What did you learn from the experience about your kids? What did you learn about yourself? I want those stories, and I want those stories not to say, hey, look at us, but I want those stories to say, hey, look at God. And hey, this family met around their table this week, and they did X, Y, and Z, and because they did, little Johnny said this. And that's revelation, right? And that's lives being changed little by little, right? It's baby steps, it's inch by inch. And so I really want to know those stories, because 1, I'll celebrate with you, but 2, I'd really like, with your permission, to share your story with others so we can start getting other families around their tables and engaged together, because the only way that we actually make a difference in our communities and in our cities is to lead our house well. The one thing I learned when we moved here in 2017 was I don't know anybody. And when I recognized that the only people I knew were under the roof of my house, I knew I had to be a lot more intentional. And so that was why in 2017 I said, I'm going to be more to this house, more to the people in this house than I ever have been, and stepped up my game as a husband, as a father. But that meant I had to step up my game as a follower first. And I think that as we lead our houses, what happens is we reach our house, and because we've reached our house, we're going to be able to reach our community. Right? If I can't love my house well, if I can't love the people in my house, I'll never love my neighbor very well. Right? And so then it really is one house, our house, one neighbor, one block, one street, one community at a time, until we are united, until we're together. And obviously that's all wrapped around and kind of centered around who Jesus is, who God our Father is. And so I hope this is good. I want to hear from you, man. Please let me know how it goes. And I'd love to hear those stories. I'd love to celebrate with you. And I can't wait to hear from you. So good luck. And remember, bring some energy. Have a good day.